we're on. So, with the countdown, three, two, one, Larry.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our podcast. We always try to feature someone in the industry that's helping with F&I or some kind of product. Today, we're going to be a little more selfish. We're going to talk about an event that I'm putting on with Shawn Armorer. We're going to be at the Grand Hyatt at Tampa or Tampa Bay, however they list it, doing a workshop about how sales and BDC can coexist. We're going to try to blow up the silos, pull people together, show them how to sell more cars, show them how to get more appointments in, show them how to work together. Because obviously we've seen not working together doesn't quite get the result. It's like people in a rowboat and some are rowing this way and some are rowing that way, and they wonder why they're going in a big circle and not getting anywhere. So we're very glad whoever's watching can join us. And if you're not watching us, why not? I mean, don't make us visit your house. We get a little scary when we show up. And of course, Mike Larkin, as always, is kind enough to host us and get things rocking and rolling. So to be very candid, I'm extremely excited. I love being in front of people. Shawn and I have been best friends now for a couple of years. He brings tremendous skills to the table, and we just really think not only are we going to have fun, but we're going to leave an audience much better, make everybody more productive, and be the first of many events. So, Shawn, tell us a little bit about your alchemy and what you do and how you do it and why you're looking forward to the 22nd.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Larry. Well, listen, 23 years, a little over 2 decades now in the business. Started off under the rooftop for the first 18 years. Started off washing cars over in fixed ops. Then started, just learned my craft from there. So washing cars, became a porter, did some appointments over at service, became a service advisor, service manager. Then I dipped my toes into used car. Wasn't quite my thing. And
hold on a second. For anybody that is listening to this podcast, it's called cross-training. And it's what everybody should do with all their positions. Correct. And then these silos would spontaneously
Correct.
On their own.
Correct. And that's so important that you say that, Larry, because this is just the kind of energy that we're bringing to this thing. On May 22nd, I'm telling you right now, this is not surface level business. We have Larry Feldman, the Larry Feldman. I mean, think about it. 30 plus years. I don't want to date you yet. I don't want to age you yet, Larry, but 30 plus years in the business, could even potentially be 40, but I'll be kind. 30 plus years, over 30 years. We got myself, 23 plus years in the business. And like I was telling you, in my ascent, I've held positions all over the dealership except general manager. So over time, BDC Alchemy, which is now my business, my training and consulting company, it's an amalgamation of all of these 23 years being in different departments and seeing, the combustion points that exist that are creating, like you said before, the silos in the BDC. So I found a way to actually bring everybody to the table and find a way for the BDC in particular to operate in this chaos known as the automobile.
Could we avoid the amount of years? Only because we already have an unsavory reputation in this business, and it almost sounds like a prison sentence. Only in our case, we never get paroled.
Yeah, we never get paroled.
The Hotel California, you can check in anytime you like, but you can never leave.
But I'm super excited because this is not going to be surface level stuff. This is not going to be and listen, mind you, I love the automotive industry. It's given me everything that I have. But again, there's great events out there. There's some sales events. There's some BDC events. There's great people doing great things. But I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Larry and Michael, this is really the first time that we're actually bringing 2 departments into the same room, into the same war pack together to work together once and for all, like you said, Larry, to get rid of these silos that is actually preventing maximum revenue in the dealership.
And it'll also be a conference and a workshop where we're not worried about being politically correct. We're worried about having people leave and be better with a smile on their face, remotivated, with a better path to success.
Yes.
Shawn and I share a lot of values, even though I'm a little crazier than he is, and we don't like to waste people's time. We want to make sure everybody gets a tremendous value out of this. We're looking to get a tremendous value out of this.
Correct. Yeah, student of the business, and we're constantly learning. And one of the first things that I'm going to say at the event, which I'm going to say here, is very simple for me personally. And I know, Larry, we share a lot of the same values, but I am not here today for your comfort. I am here for your success. And we are really, when I talk about busting down silos from the BDC perspective, when I'm talking about busting down silos is I'm literally going to ask all the BDC personnel that are attending, bring your pay plans, bring your reporting, bring your current processes, bring whatever combustion points you currently have in your, in the dealership, bring them with you so we can actually use real world examples at the event and stay away from all that surface level industry metrics and so is doing this and so is doing that. I'm not concerned about other people. I'm concerned about the people that are going to be sitting in those seats.
And that, it's so funny you said that, how we're thinking along the same lines. And I've been telling all the people that are coming to see me to bring money, and not dollar bills, 5s and 10s, no coins, please. Just throw them up if you like what you hear. Hey, Mike, you got to make a living somehow.
Hey, I heard that your hero in life is Benjamin Franklin. Just saying.
Absolutely. But listen, we have no country without him in Washington. There were many, many patriots that worked on it, but without Washington leading from the front, and Franklin holding the British at bay and then bringing the French into the war by charming a whole country, we got nothing. Not to mention he shaped the Declaration and the Constitution. And he was chasing women around Paris. He was chasing women around Paris in the 70s and 80s, and there was no Viagra back then. You didn't know Ben was a player. What are you Canadians now?
Well, Larry, you know what, Larry? Actually, we should answer the question perhaps that some people have. Like, on your perspective, who do you feel should be attending this? Should it be general managers? Should it be sales managers? Should it be salespeople? BDC? Who should be coming to such an event?
Everyone should attend. And let me say, I'm not saying it as a profit motive. I'm saying it as a point of logic. Now, I just left a group in Texas, and the GM, who is incredibly busy, sat in on my training, sales training for 2 days, and then sat in when I trained his managers. Because his attitude was the right attitude. I want to see what you're teaching them, what I should adapt, what I can add, if there's any disagreement I have. And that's what everyone should do. I was a salesman, and I would go to training and come back, and I'd say, hey, the heck with that stuff. That's not how we do it around here. If everybody's not together, the old cliches become cliches because they're correct. The chain is as strong as its weakest link. So salespeople should be there. BDC people should be there. Sales managers should be there. BDC managers should be there. I mean, again, you're going to have a top BDC trainer, a top sales trainer. You're going to have enough energy to light up 20 dealerships. Why wouldn't someone want to attend? And we made a conscious decision to make it a one-day event, not 2 or 3 days. Not you have to break up your whole sales staff and break up your whole routine.
Yeah.
Manipulate around your days off. Do what you have to do. No one is going to come out of this and not be happy. When I first met Shawn, he flew across the country in Canada to come see me, and we held about 200 people in the palm of our hands, and everybody was satisfied. That's what we're aiming for. We don't want this to be one of these, it was okay. We want to blow people away. Because that's what we want to teach our BDC and sales people to do. To exceed expectations and make people smile so hard that their face hurts.
And you know what, Larry, that's such a great point because I fundamentally believe that, success is intentional and deliberate. Like you
excuse me, so is failure. So is failure.
You know what? Absolutely. You know what? And I don't want to be cynical to the people watching this, but it's so critically important that they understand what you're currently doing is giving you what you currently have. Right? So that's the first question that I would start with regards to, hey, do we invest and go to this event or do we not? Now, there's going to be a broad spectrum of people because there's a broad spectrum of situations. There's a broad spectrum of sales floors. There's a broad spectrum of BDCs. Okay, some are doing really, really good, but they just need, that little nudge just to get over the hump that would actually produce an extra $50K a month. Some people are completely in the gutter and absolutely everything in between, right? So there's going to be something for everybody. over on the BDC side, when we're talking about knocking down silos, historically, the BDC has always been set up as a silo. Far off into the dealership somewhere in the corner, into the small office where it used to be one person sitting in there, and now we crammed in 4 human beings, and we're asking them to do over 110 and 120 calls per day, and we're expecting them to do that every single day for an entire year. I get it. I understand. But sometimes you just need a different perspective. Sometimes you don't know what you don't know. So if coming to this event is just going to unlock that little piece of thing, if coming to this event is like, hey, I never looked at it that way, well, then it would be worth all the money that you paid for.
Well, it's an interesting concept. I'm not getting political. I'm just stating a fact. The last government.
Careful now. Don't talk about tariffs.
The last government we had, on the way out, the proposal from the former leader of the United States was, people are a little overweight, so we're going to let everyone have access to Ozempic. No, the answer is to have them eat better and exercise more. The reason BDCs were developed, Mike, if anyone's concerned, Mike is trying out for the Marcel Marceau lookalike contest. But if he doesn't speak, he's just staying in character. His owners woke up one day and said, wait a minute, sales calls are coming in. The operator's giving it to whoever's on the floor. They could be with a customer. They could be writing a note on the back of a Chinese menu where they could say, yeah, we sold that car. And the whole point was to realize how important it was to set appointments properly and get more people in. So to have that tool and not avail yourself of it properly makes no sense. I just, again, visited a lot of dealerships this week in Texas. Boy, did I have fun. And you hear a lot of complaints about the BDC, about sales, and sales about BDC. And my answer is always the same. Maybe if you got together, this stuff would work itself out. Well, they don't know what they're doing in the BDC. Well, maybe if you went up there and told them a little bit, or said, if you ever have a question about equipment or anything, call me. The more we work together, the less stress and anxiety everybody has. Isn't everybody going to do real well?
Yeah, absolutely.
Plus, Mike, we've engaged a highly paid medical team, and their opinion is that anyone that doesn't attend this event at some point will contract some illness and die.
No, I thought you were going to whack them over their head with their own cell phone, because I want to tell you, every single piece of material you put out, Larry, I see the entire class, no matter where it is. Nobody has a cell phone.
Listen, for anybody out there that needs help with marketing, look at all the nice things this guy said about me, and all I did was buy him a hat. See, there's more effective ways to use what you have, and one of them is to get your BDC and your sales team locked together. Not opposing, locked together.
Yeah.
Because the energy we waste complaining about why did you bring that guy in, well, maybe so you have an opportunity to sell a car, and the fact that we don't aid the people that are up there. This is like everything else in life. The more we look past our insecurities and our doubts, and the more we embrace the people around us, everybody will get better. That's what we need to do. That's what this conference is about.
Yeah.
So I got a question for Shawn real quick.
Yes, sir.
As far as the communication, Larry just illustrated it perfectly. The sales guys don't get along with the BDC. Don't give us all your secrets, but just one kind of tactic or secret or strategy you're going to do to bring those silos together.
The first thing that I'm fundamentally going to do is I'm once and for all going to explain everything starts with the pay plan. Everything starts with the pay plan from a BDC perspective.
Whoa. I don't mean to interrupt you, but you can broaden that out. Everything starts with the pay plan for everything in life. Every sales team in North, including the management, work their pay plan. You can't sell Hyundai Elantras? Put a $50 cash spiff. All of a sudden, the guy's mother's driving an Elantra, and she didn't even need a car.
Correct. And listen, I've worked with some of the biggest BDCs in Texas, where Larry is. I've worked with some of the biggest BDCs across Canada, all over the States. Heck, I even been overseas to Trinidad and Tobago and in Poland to work with some of the Porsche people down there. And one of the things that I've always seen, and not to be cynical, because this is precisely why me and Larry are doing this, you don't know what you don't know. And what I've seen from a BDC perspective is fundamentally it has always been, the pay structure has always kind of been roughly designed around to mimic what the sales floor is. It's based on a number of calls or a number of tasks or a number of appointments, not relevant appointments, not in-market shopper appointments, appointments. So obviously, I hate to use this terminology, but I will. But obviously, if we're going to incentivize entry-level employees on the phone that are doing 120 calls a day for 15 to 18 bucks an hour, and you're telling me on top of that, you're going to give me 25 bucks for every appointment I book, what do you think I'm going to do? I'm going to book appointments. Now, are they good appointments?
Shawn, is this the equivalent of when you say to the salesman, did you make your calls? Yeah, I left the guy a voicemail. Yeah, that's
correct.
Really these days.
Same thing. So we want to incentivize the behavior that we want to see. Do we want appointments? Of course we do. But there's going to be an element that I'm going to present about the pay plan, but there's also going to be the pay plan attached to reporting. And I am going to surgically break this down, and I want the sales managers to see this. I want the general managers to see this. I want the BDMs to see this, because we need everybody understanding how everybody operates. Where does the BDC end and where does the sales start? Vice versa.
Well, wait a minute. And it's so funny, because I'm going to dovetail into that, because what you're saying is effective appointments.
Relevant in-market shopper appointments.
Well, listen, it's the same thing with me, because what I'm going to also spend quite a bit of time talking about is prospecting. I don't care if you're the greatest salesperson on earth. If you're dealing with strangers that come in and might be looking at other models or maybe different dealers with your model, what are you going to close? 20%, 18%, if miraculously 25%? But it's been proven that you can close as high as 55% with repeat referral. And if there's an incentive fee, a bird dog, if you will, you can close as high as 70. So I guess my question is, I don't like when people knock their own industry. I love car salespeople. I love car managers. I love the guys that are on the show. But how insanely foolish is it to say, yep, I'm going to shoot for the 15% instead of the 70%. This is like Shawn and I go fishing, and there's two ponds. One has 12 million fish. The other one has one catfish who's 81 years old. He wears sneakers. Nobody can catch up with him. Why chase the one when you can go for the many? So we're going to emphasize real ways, not ephemeral, real ways to set more appointments, to get your head straight, to make more money, to get more cars sold, more appointments set, get better CSI, because the happier everyone is, the happier the customers are. This stuff starts with you can tell if an operator is in a good mood because you can hear her smiling over the phone. Mike, have you ever had that? You plead not to be put back on hold. They go, hold. Luckily it's not the emergency ward that's doing that, or 911.
Yeah. And what I'm equally excited, sorry, Michael, but you got me going now. You got me going, and so does Larry. Larry just knows how to get me going.
Just one question.
So, yeah, I know. So what we were talking about before, don't forget, your question was related to like relevant appointments. This is what we just said. But how are we going to have and create relevant appointments if the people at the BDC don't feel relevant? That's the number one thing. So Larry and I, for sure, 100%, are even just going to be talking about how do you build your confidence?
Listen,
how do you even become relevant? Where do I even start?
If I don't throw a musical quote in every show, Michael gets disappointed. So we're going to quote the great Pete Townsend from Tommy. How can men who've never seen light be enlightened?
Boom. There you go. Right? So, like, what is the first step to, because listen, unfortunately, the BDCs that I work with, the personnel that I work with, one of their biggest, I don't want to say complaints, but feedbacks is that they just don't feel relevant. It's a forgotten department with the door closed. And historically, the only time that we've really kind of had any kind of interaction is 4 to 5 days before the end of the month, when the sales are a little bit behind target. They'll come in, they'll give us like a list of 1,000 names, and they'll just tell us to start dialing for dollars, right? Which breaks down the true essence of what a BDC is specifically designed for, which is building relationships. That's a whole other paradigm. So what we're really excited about, Larry and I, because we've spoken about this, and even the way that we're going to be presenting it, it's not just going to be Larry talking for 2 hours, because God knows he can. He'd probably talk for 2 days. But the way that we're going to do it is that we're both going to be up there at the same time.
We're going to take questions.
And we're going to take questions.
Anything that's on their mind.
Correct. Yes, this is what I'm trying to tell you when we called it a workshop. I was very, very adamant about this being a workshop. I don't mind the pageantry of it and the event type thing, but it absolutely needs to be a bi-directional communication with the people that are prepared to make the investment to increase their business and their careers.
That dovetails into my next question. And it's based on Larry, but it could be for Shawn, is
we're a symbiosis. If you're talking to Larry, you're talking to Shawn. You're talking to Shawn, you're talking to Larry. You're not separating us.
Just make sure, Shawn, when you go to the drugstore, you don't pick up my meds. That's going to have a pulmonary effect on this.
Yeah, and if you do, good on you.
Hey, Shawn seemed particularly animated today. I wonder what happened.
He's smiling ear to ear. What did he swallow a Kodak? So, but my question is, and you hear it a lot, is people go to these workshops, and I'm glad you said a workshop, because the rest of it is just, who's who in the zoo and who's most popular. It's like high school reunion. I'm like, what? But after 2 weeks, after a month, I hear it all the time, that it reverts back to the way it used to be. What are you guys going to do to, and not telling any secrets, but to entice some people to go?
There is no secret. When I give people my business card, it has my cell phone number on it. And I tell everybody the same thing. You've given me your time. In this case, you've given me some money. You need me, you call me. See, we want to see it. We're not looking for planned obsolescence where 3 months later they forgot everything. Okay? We want to make.
I know this about you is you actually answer your phone.
Did we lose you there, Mike?
No, it's just our energy is so much that he just froze up. And this is exactly what's going to happen at the event, Larry. They're just going to freeze up. They're going to be taking notes, and they're going to be super excited. I mean, listen, we could wait for Michael to come back, or we could just go.
Yeah, we can. Obviously, you see what happens when you hang around me and Shawn Armorer too long.
We broke the internet. We broke the internet.
There we go. But to fully flesh out the answer to Michael, we're going to put our hearts and souls into this. We're going to make sure every second is relevant. We're going to make it fun. We're going to answer every question. I'm going to do some stuff. Shawn's going to do some stuff. We're going to do a lot of stuff together. And we want to drill down into what it is that you need help with, what it is that we can make better, and what we can do to show you how to be more effective. What's so scary is we all have a tremendous potential that's untapped, right? They say that you use 5% of your brain. What would happen if we moved that up to 7 or 8.2? If we can show people ways to be a little bit better, if we can show them a way to work together, it's good. See, look, people that are listening to this, if you're taking the time, you understand already some human psychology, and that it takes a lot of effort to be angry and upset with people. And yet, for some reason, a huge segment of the world enjoys complaining. I don't. The only time I ever quote Eldridge Cleaver is when I say, if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. I'd rather help fix things than hear endlessly how wrong they are. So if we can find a way to take the energy out of the room about how bad the BDC is, how the salespeople don't want to communicate, what can we do with that productive time that was being misused by being angry at each other?
Yes.
Listen, I'm a lover, not a fighter, but Shawn was an MMA guy, UFC, the whole bit, and he'll tell you that it takes a lot of energy. It's not like the movies where you get in a big fight and the next day you're fine. They're like football players. These guys go through the equivalent of having a car accident at 40 miles an hour. It's why so many of them, when they're 38, look like they can't walk up a flight of steps. Now, you don't have to actually...
Are you talking about me again, Larry?
Yes, you don't have to engage in a fight. Think about the last time you screamed at somebody and they screamed at you back. And when you were done, you were physically exhausted. If we take the frustration out of this process, if we take the anger out and instead channel it into, let's work together. Because if you
Yeah.
work together, it's not like I win and you lose. Socrates, Plato believed that the only thing that can be shared without depriving somebody is knowledge. You know, if you're drinking milk, unfortunately, there's somebody in a starved country that isn't drinking milk. But knowledge can be shared without anyone being deprived. And if we can show a better way to work together, which we can and we will, how bad can that be? Plus, you know, if you're hanging around with us, it's going to be a fun day. And listen, one of the best things we can ever teach people is to have fun and make the people around them have fun, because that takes the stress out of all situations. Mike, it looks like you're unfrozen.
Yes, I'm unfrozen. It's a windy day here in Connecticut, so apologize for my frozen self.
We're trying to change the world, and he's turning into Madonna with a career
Yeah,
change.
exactly.
He went drastically off the track here.
So, gentlemen, I'm so psyched to have you here, and also I'm psyched to be going.
Well,
to
hold
this
on,
event.
let me throw this. Let me throw this around. It's called connectconvertclose.us. You can register now. I believe Shawn will correct me. If you get in early, it's $247, which is a joke. We're going to show you how to make so much more money than that. It can't even describe it. If you wait later, it's $297, and if my brother-in-law is out there for you, it's $700. Okay, make sure we get that clear.
We'll have a link somewhere on here.
Sure.
Press the link and register now.
Yeah, and I think the important thing, and I want to really stress this out. At the beginning of my journey of BDC Alchemy, of my business, you know, and I'm being super straightforward with you. One of the three, and I won't share the other two because those are personal, but one of the three goals that I truly, sincerely had after missing my son's soccer games and unfortunately, you know, getting separated in a divorce because it was totally my fault, but I was just so obsessed with working and figuring this out while I was under the rooftop doing 60, 70 hours a week. I mean, 23 years later, here I am. And at the end of the day, I told myself, like, what can I do with all of this information in my mind? All of these things that I went through and all of these life-changing events at the hand of my own, don't get me wrong, but at the hands of my own willingness to learn and to want to be better. I just want to make the industry a better place. And
you're with the right crowd.
Well, this is what I'm saying. So yes, it's 247, and yes, it's 297. Whatever the pricing is, that was done by the marketing. But if you really truly think about it, and you take from an investment standpoint, that's not even $1 a day if you separate that amount throughout the year. So it's almost like that commercial for the price of a cup of coffee. I mean, what are we really talking about here? We're talking about two of the industry's most sought after experts that are just going to pour into you. That is not even money based in our minds. I just want to show up. I want to get on stage, and I just want to deliver. I genuinely want to help people by giving them tools, and it's going to absolutely be uncomfortable. We're going to break barriers. We're going to break your comfort level. We are going to call upon you. I mean, I don't know about you, Larry, but one of my missions, and I shouldn't say this, actually, I will say this so people know what to expect. But for my aspect of it, my mission is to engage with every single person in the crowd at least once. This is not going to be a monologue. This is not going to be Shawn up there talking about my career trajectory and how I did this and how I did that. Nobody cares about what I did. It's how is Shawn going to help me? And that's fundamentally what I'm going to deliver.
The engagement thing, you know, you saw me in action. All I want to do is bring the people into it. What we're going to show is that when speakers engage with the audience, everybody gets better. And that's what we're going to show with BDC and sales to do. How to engage with each other so everybody wins. We're looking for a win-win. And we're looking to have fun.
Definitely.
Well, I would just interject with that, and hope I'm not freezing, but I always like to say it's a win-win-win. the customer has got to win in this game. And you guys are teaching internally how to win-win, working with each other. But the final win is the customer that brings in more customers. Am I right, or am I off base?
Larry.
No, you're right. It's just Shawn lost count of how many wins that was. I saw him. He started writing with
That's from the fighting career. That was from my fighting. I took a few elbows to the head. But you're absolutely right. So, but there poses the question, are your customers winning? And if they are they kind of winning? All right. So I've always said this, in order to create a guest experience, we first need to create an employee experience.
Of course.
And that employee experience in the rooftop, like this tension, this friction that we have in between the two departments, I am telling you right now, it is absolutely causing combustion points, which is leading to revenue loss. Because growth is found in the current areas being mismanaged. And mismanaged, I want to be very careful and responsible with what I'm saying. Mismanaged doesn't mean you're not doing a good job. But are you doing it to its absolute potential? And the only way to find out is to show up and make things.
The problem in life is never shooting too high. It's shooting too low and hitting the target.
Correct.
We're going to show you how to raise your game and how to have more fun. Michael, I don't want to run too long today. Any other thoughts from you? Any other thoughts from Shawn? I think we've got our message across. It's May 22nd.
It's time for Burning Desires.
Yeah, Grand Hyatt in Tampa. We're not that far from
May
here.
22nd.
May 22nd.
Be there or be square.
There we go. Thank you all for listening. We hope to see you very, very soon with a much less grouchy BDC and sales team.
Take care, y'all.